In our last entry, we were given a new city a new try after being in a toxic environment for too long. But in this entry, we're learning to feel safe again. I didn't realize how tense I was until things got quiet. Not the kind of quiet that feels lonely, but the kind that doesn't ask anything from you. No overthinking everything I said, no replaying conversations in my head, no trying to read between the lines, and no walking on eggshells. Just peace and quiet. And it was really strange. And honestly, I spent months not knowing what to do with it. I had been surviving in chaos and living in survival mode for as long as I can remember, and I didn't really know the difference between that and actually being at peace. Peace and safety always felt like one of those things that was always sought after, but too far to reach. I didn't quite understand what it meant for me and what it meant in my situation. But one thing I did know is it was something I didn't have, and the people that did have it seemed a hell of a lot happier and more content than I was. So I went on the journey to discover what safety, well-being, and choosing me really meant. Welcome to my channel, and this is my journey. And this entry is for the person learning to feel safe again. So before we get too far ahead, let's go back a little. Let's talk about what safety means to me. The first thing that comes to mind for me is the ability to not have to perform or to feel comfortable enough not to have to perform. For as long as I remember, I've always just been highly aware, sensitive, and just reading other people's emotions and everything to see how I should react and how I should act in certain environments. As I reflect on it, it's absolutely a result of living in survival mode for too long and just doing what I need to survive. So now that I'm in the place where I finally feel safe and finally feel a little bit of peace and freedom, it feels unfamiliar and sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Silence does teach us a lot. I used to think that feeling overwhelmed meant something mattered, but that's not the case. Like, I'm the opposite now. If it overwhelms me, I want to get rid of it. And obviously I'm not talking about the day-to-day things, but I simply just strive for more balance in my life, and I'm starting to see things more clearly. So it's great that I'm finally coming to this conclusion and finally developing my frontal cortex. What is it? Frontal lobe. And finally developing my frontal lobe. But there's one problem. My nervous system is still in survival mode, and we gotta work through that. If you're new to my channel, I recently burnt out. I was a business owner. I worked really hard for a big corporation, and I just completely burned out. And as a result, I decided to do more of the soft life, to take my time with things, and to get more hobbies. So that's why you guys will see a lot of cozy hobbies and other things on this page. And I will say that was the biggest game changer for me, to slow down and really work on regulating my nervous system. Because for me, being more present actually really helped me with that. Now, your girl loves her music, all type of music. But recently there was this moment where I got in my car, I got ready to go to work, and before I knew it, I was at work and I never turned the music on. Something about driving in silence and just reflecting and just taking in nature and just the moment and things like that really worked for me that day. And that was new for me. I was like, is this a little bit of peace? Is this a little bit of safety? Now, I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but that's kind of how it sneaks up on you. It's like the little things, day by day, little things change, little things shift, and those little things become a lifestyle change. And that's exactly what it feels like learning to feel safe again. Oh yeah, and also adopting 2 cats. I think I skipped past that part. I have 2 cats now. So yeah, they help with my anxiety and my nervous system. Shout out to them. Shout out to Marbles and Ryder, okay? Okay. So I always knew I wanted to feel safe, but I had to reframe what safe actually meant to me. The true answer to that is that I'm still figuring it out. What I've learned so far is that it doesn't make me question myself, and it doesn't leave me confused, it doesn't feel hot or cold, or it doesn't have me overthinking. I am truly free to act and be my true version of myself that I've always been, but have hid away for so long. What does safety mean to you? How do you define it for yourself? Because to be honest, it will differ for each of us. We all have different life experiences that shape us into who we are today. Growing up, I felt like my family was always hypercritical of things I do, and not in the like, we expect great things of you type of way, just like everything I did, because I kind of moved different from everybody else or what everyone else had done before. And as an adult, I am so used to people being hypercritical to the things I do. It kind of has me like hiding the true version of myself, hiding the things I love and my true personality. So that's why I always go back to the being able to like unmask or just be my true version of myself is true safety for me. And I'm actually in a season now where I'm able to do that, and it feels very weird, but it's so nice. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting, but I feel very uncomfortable. A huge benefit of, adjusting or learning to feel safe again is I feel it emotionally and mentally, but I feel it physically. My body, I feel like, was in survival mode for so many years that it just got out of hand. I gained weight, my skin started breaking out, my hormone disorder started flaring up. Like all these things are collective, things that were just not working. I have scarring under my chin and things like that from my PCOS. And it's things that I'm able to focus on now to try to get my skin and my body back to how I was. I felt like I was carrying the largest boulder on my back. My body just felt so heavy and tired. It was like all of the years of me like masking and not feeling safe and being in survival mode just really, really weighed on my body. And I really had to rest. And honestly, I'm so happy to even be in that part of it, because that means I'm healing. And that means we're making progress. This is the part where you learn to live for yourself again. So I know I talked a lot about my physical environment and how that helped me feel, more safe, but there's other things that you can do to feel more safe or find peace within. Journaling is definitely one of those, and I absolutely suck at trying to journal consistently. If you open my journal, there's probably 3 weeks in between the entries, but it's the fact that I did it. I love when I successfully journal because I'm so proud of myself for doing what I said I would do. We did it. So obviously we like to talk about this peaceful, aesthetically pleasing version of healing and feeling safe and things like that. But obviously there's a lot of tough parts about healing. For me, one of the biggest things was setting boundaries. I had to set boundaries to feel safe and to feel at peace, because I was allowing people who made me feel unsafe to overstep their boundaries or to even be a part of my life in general. And that had to change. And I'm sure somebody listening out there feels the same. I won't get on here and pretend that I have it all figured out. There are still moments when I overthink, where I doubt myself, where old patterns try to come back just out of the sense of familiarity. But the difference now is I notice it and I try to get a grip, girl. And instead of being hard on myself, I try to meet myself with a little bit more understanding and a little bit more grace. And of course, a little bit more patient, because healing takes patience. Something I've been catching myself with, especially with friendships and people that I've cut off, is that I've been feeling safe, but I've been feeling lonely. And it has me rethink things. And it's like, well, was it that bad? Did I really have to cut them off? And most times it is that bad and I did have to cut them off. But it's something about just feeling alone with your thoughts that sometimes make you think, maybe I can tolerate the thing. And that compromises your safety and your peace. And in those moments, I have to remind myself that I cannot allow 5 minutes of feeling lonely or whatever compromise all this healing and all this work that I've been doing, because it's very valuable and I deserve better. Whether that's relationships, friendships, family, any of that, and so do you. Truthfully, I still have a lot to learn, but I'm grateful for the progress. I'm honestly having to learn to live for myself again. And for some, it may sound simple, but for me, it's not. It's choosing things because I enjoy them and not because they made sense to anyone else, which is what I was used to doing before. It's letting myself rest without feeling like I have to earn it. It's finding comfort in the small things again. like gaming, playing with my cats, my herbal tea collection, my plants, things like that, and not feeling guilty for it. I think for a long time, I forgot what it felt like to just exist for me. I'm still learning what safe feels like, still unlearning a lot of things, but I think I'm getting closer and closer to the version of myself that feels at home in her own life. And maybe safe was never supposed to be loud. Maybe it was always meant to feel like this.